Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator. For the past few days I'm doing a series for the Airbus A320 Neo, and so far I've done almost 9 videos. This is going to be the last one, I think, because I have almost covered all the topics related to Airbus A320. As I've been explaining in my videos that I'm trying to explore all the opportunities of this plane. Today I'm going to do a very short flight from Dubai to Riyadh. And in this flight, I will show you how to perform a DME Arc approach and how to land your plane. The approach into the King Khalid International Airport at Riyadh is based on a DME Arc. So what is a DME Arc and how do you perform this approach? I'm going to take you through this video. And right now I'm parked at Dubai International Airport. I will be flying off from runway 12 left and I will be landing at 33 left. So let's open the airport charts because it is very important to have the airport charts while you're doing the DME Arc approach because there are certain things that you have to follow. So let's go and open the charts for the Riyadh airport, which is KKIA. So whether you are performing an ILS approach or RNAV approach, or you're performing any other approach, it's actually done through a DME Arc. And as I told you before, I will be performing the landing at the runway 33 left. So that's why this is the approach plate for the runway 33 left. Now, just in order to make things simple for all the beginners, because I mostly make videos for the beginners who are at a very beginners level, because I myself is not a very big expert of the aviation. So that's why I try to keep things simple and I try to explain things in a very simple manner. Before I go to the DME Arc approach, so this is actually a DME Arc approach, and mostly the people will be wondering that what kind of an approach is this. As I told you before, just to keep things simple, you actually enter the vicinity of the airport through any waypoint, which can be Sesot, in this case, can be Sugak, or can be Risab. So these are the three main points at which you come. Either you're coming from anywhere in the world, you just come to these points, and then you proceed towards the runway in an arc. This arc is at a distance from the runway. In this case, it's a 8 DME arc. So it means this arc is 8 nautical miles away from the runway, or the what you can call the VOR, because the VOR over here is KIA 113.3. So this is the VOR, and from here there is an 8 miles difference, and you have to actually fly 8 miles away from this VOR in an arc, and eventually at this point you will start the landing towards the runway. This is going to be your final approach. As you can see at Sugak, you have to be at 5,500. That at RK 702 over here, your final approach towards the runway will start, and then you can perform an ILS landing. If I go back and show you the Dubai International Airport approach, let me just show you. So let's open Dubai, and I will show you the approach for runway 12 left. Okay, now you can see that the approach towards the runway over here, it's a simple straight approach, but before this there is a procedure that's known as a STAR, which is a standard terminal arrival. So if you go to the standard terminal arrival, I think, let me just show you this example. So over here, because this is the approach that I fly the most while landing at runway 12 left. So as you can see in the star, it is all defined. So you come towards this point, which is imped, and then afterwards you start your approach towards the runway. So whether you are landing at runway 12 left or 12 right, as you can see, 2 approaches. For 12 left, you take this route, you go towards left, and then you go straight, and then you come back, and then you land. And if you're landing at runway 12 right, sorry, this is for the 12 right, and for the 12 left, you should be coming from here. From this point you turn right, and then you go straight, and then you land at the runway. So 12 left and 12 right, I've explained both to you. So this is how this approach is being carried out. So if you look at I think there is another one for the runway 33 left and right. So there is another approach. So if you are coming from this point, This is the type of approach that you take. You go here, and then if you're coming from this part of the world, the left side, then this is the approach. So there are different patterns for each and every runway that you have to follow, which is known as an approach, and then you land. So if you're coming from the seaside and you want to land at runway 3 left or 30 left or 30 right, so this is the type of approach that you get. For 30 left, you turn right from here, and then you go like this in this path, and then you land. So there is a pattern which is defined in order to land at an airport, and every plane landing at an airport coming from different directions has to follow that pattern. But in Riyadh, the only difference is the type of approach that it has. It has an arc approach, which is a DME arc approach, as I've explained it to you before. So let's open the chart again, and let me just show you. So it's a very simple thing. Initially, if you are not familiar with the DME arc, it's going to be a difficult one for you. But once you get it, it gets very easy. Let me just also show you one more thing. We have the star over here. There is also videos on my channel in which I've explained the flight planning method to you in order to identify the set and star. So you can just go and watch that movie in order to understand what is a star. But in this video, I will not touch this topic, but I will just slightly tell you, star is a standard terminal arrival, as I've shown you before in the Dubai approach, that it performs, it actually is a guideline for the plane to perform a landing. So every approach plate and plus a star has an altitude and a speed that the plane has to follow. And the Airbus MCDU, once you do the flight planning, it automatically does it for you, so you really don't have to worry about it. So this is the star, and if I go here, this is the star I will be using to approach towards the runway 33 left, and as you can see that ILS 1A, this is the one that I will be using. So while approaching runway 33 left, there can be 4 different directions that you are coming from. Either you can be coming from this direction, the north, so you use ISRAT, and if you're coming from this side, the east side, COBOX and TACTI, and plus if you're coming from other directions, then there is another star. So this is how you come, and if you're coming from this point ILS, you take ILS 1A, which is a star, and then you come to this point ITCUS, and from there you perform an approach. So if you look at this diagram and this chart, you can clearly see that once I'm here at ITCUS, I'm just trying to keep it simple for this example, then the runway is over here, so you have to be in a straight line. So in order to come to a straight line, they could have made it like this, that you turn left and then you go in a straight line and then you come back. But over here in the charts, you can see it's an arc. So just 8 miles away from this runway or the VR, you actually fly in an arc like this, and then once you are aligned with the runway, there's a straight line, then you turn right and then you perform the landing. So it is like this. But in this example, in this chart, ITCUS is not the point that we will be going to. It is a separate point. So after ITBAS, the plane will go to Nagar, and from here, instead of going straight away to ITCUS, it will actually go towards this side, and it will emerge at a point which is over here, which is Parcel, if I am not wrong. Yes, 33 left. So it will go to actually Parcel, and from Sesot, not the Parcel, the Sesot. So it will go to Sesot. So from coming from that point, it will actually go to Sesot and not to the one that I've shown you before. So from here, it will then fly towards Parcel, heading 253 degrees. Altitude is given 8,500. So it will fly, and it will just fly in this direction 253 degrees, and then from here it will take a left turn, and then it will fly in an arc like this, 8 nautical miles away from the VOR, and at this point Soguk, it will take a right turn, and then your final approach will start. And as you can see, at Soguk you should be at 5,500 feet, and then RK 702 over here you should be at 4,200 in order to catch the glide slope. Slope glide. That was a good one. Okay. So, and the runway elevation is 2,037 feet above the sea level. So that's it. So it's going to be a simple one. It's not that difficult. And the beauty of the Airbus A320 is that it automatically makes the DME arc for you. You really don't have to do anything. So the moment you select the star, this DME arc is already made by this MCDU. So let's go here and let's go to initialization, and let's start entering the information. OMDB to OERK. I'm just taking you through the flight planning part so that you can see how this DME Arc approach is plotted in the navigation display, and once you are flying it, then it will be easy for you to follow this flight path and approach. OERK. So that's it, and cost index will be 15, and the cruising altitude I will be cruising at 35,000 feet, FL350. That's it, and initialization B, all the information is coming here. So flight plan, let's begin with the flight plan. So departure will be from runway what is before this, let's get the clearance.
Dubai clearance delivery Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray tree 20 IFR to King Khalid, ready to copy.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray tree 20 is cleared to King Khalid Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 left climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 121.025 squawk 421 tree.
Airbus Alpha Sierra X-ray tree 20 cleared to King Khalid Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 12 left climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure on 121.025 squawk 421 tree.
Airbus tree 20 readback is correct. Contact ground on 118.35 when ready to taxi. Good day.
So that's it. Now I've got the clearance, and let's start it over here. The flight plan that I made, I'm using runway 12 right for the departure, but I've got the clearance for runway 12 left, so I will just keep runway 12 left, and I will use the same SID for departure, SENP3G. So let's go and see if we can find it. SENP3G. So this is our SID for the departure, and let's insert it, and afterwards I will go to this point SENPA, and from SENPA I will take N571 to Ruduk. So let's go here and enter this N571. This is the airway. I hope you're familiar with the flight planning part, but if you're not, then you can watch a video. I've shown you how to enter the flight plan in the MCDU of the plane. So N571 to RUDUK. I've now entered all the airways and the waypoints. Now it's time to enter the destination, which is the most important point. So let's look at the arrivals. As I told you before, it's going to be ILS 33 left, and let's open the charts and let's see. It was I think it is this one, ETBA1A. Let's go and check ETBA1A. And via, let's open the charts and let's see what is the via. It's very important to have these Navigraph charts because the flight planning is really good, and plus it gives you very good perspective into the flying, and plus you're able to find out the star and plus the vias, so it's really easy to find. So it's good to have the Navigraph subscription with you. So if I go to 33 left, as I told you before, so I will be using Sesot over here. So after the last waypoint, I will come to this point Sesot, and from there we will do the approach. So let me just show you over here. So let's go and revise this plan, and let me just show you how it works. So Airbus, as you can see, Airbus, Nagir and Sesot. So over here, if you see Airbus, Nagir, and the last one is Sesot. Yes. So Sesot is over here, not to Itkus but to Sesot. You can also select Itkus and then to Sesot, but there is no need to do it. Once I'm near the approach, you will see that after Nagir, the plane will actually come over here to this point, and over here there's Sesot, and let me just show you again Sesot. So it is here, and from here it will just move towards the runway in the heading of 253 degrees. From here, parcel left turn, just staying 8 miles away from the viewer. It will just go in an arc like this, and over here at this point, then approach will start. And if I look at the flight plan, so you can easily see it over here. Let me just increase the navigation display, and let's see. you can see Sesot, then there is a deceleration point, parcel, as I've shown you before, and then there's an arc like this, and then after RK 702 the plane will go. So it is almost, sorry, not this one. So if I go here, you will see it is almost like the chart that I was showing you before. So that's why it's really good to have these charts, because it gives you a very good understanding as perspective into different approaches and different airports, and plus it really increases your knowledge of the aviation. I just really like knowing all these things. So let's go and open 33 left. Let me also pin it. I don't know why I didn't pin it, but you can see it's almost the same. So this approach is there. So with the help of this plane, you will be able to fly this approach, and I will not carry on with the flight. I will obviously not take you through the flight. The flight planning part was the most important part. So by the time I'm at Airbus, I'll just join you guys again, and I will tell you how to then perform for an ILS landing. Right now I'm near the King Khalid International Airport in Riyadh, and as you can see, I've started the descent. By this point, Airbus, I should be at 22,000 feet if I'm not wrong. Let's cross-check this information, and as you can see, Airbus, the flight level is 220, that is 22,000 feet. So I have to be at 22,000 feet. I was flying at 35,000 feet. Now the plane is already at 23,000 feet. So it's good to be at this altitude, because with this Airbus A320 Neo, as the top of descent and the top of climb doesn't come. So that's why you have to communicate with the ATC to get the instructions. But as I'm talking to you guys, so that's why ATC is a great, what you can say, interruption in this communication. So that's why I turn off the ATC and I just try to do it myself. Right now there is some good ground to cover. The next waypoint is EMUSA, and I'm 36 nautical miles away from it. And I think similarly, I think 40 to 50 nautical miles to Airbus. So before I reach Airbus, and from here I will start the descent towards the runway, and the altitude that I will be targeting is 4,200 feet, because at this point I will be intercepting the glide slope. So that's why I have to be at 4,200. So after this point I will start the descent to 4,200 feet. Right now we have to get some information for this performance for the landing. So let's get this information over here and enter it for the landing performance, because I will be performing an ILS. That's why this information is important and it's required. The QNH is 1014 in Riyadh, and the temperature is 34 degrees, and the wind is 12 knots from 90 degrees. So 90 degrees, and it's 12 knots. So this is the information that we have to enter. Then we have to enter the MDA. So as I'm going to perform an ILS, and the decision height is 200 feet above the ground, that's 2,237, 2237. This is required because while performing an ILS, you have to make sure that you are perfectly aligned with the runway, and you're going to touch down the runway at the right point. So that's why 200 feet above the ground, that's the decision height where you decide whether to proceed with the landing or not. But if you are not aligned with the runway, obviously you have to perform a go around. The go around procedure is also given over here. It's similarly in the form of an arc, and it is at 24 DME. So it means that you have to fly in an arc 24 nautical miles away from this VOR. So I will not be performing an ILS approach for the DME Arc. So this flight today will be only for the approach, but in the next coming few days I might also do a video for this missed approach in the form of a DME Arc. But it will be difficult because in this MCDU you cannot manually enter the waypoints. Likewise, you can do it in fly-by-wire or Phoenix Airbus A320. That's known as the PBD, the place, bearing and distance. You can enter it, or you can enter the GPS coordinates, but in this plane you cannot do that. So that's why it will be difficult to make an arc. But I will try to cover it in the fly-by-wire Airbus A320 Neo and Phoenix Airbus A320. So maybe the next few days you will get to see that video on my channel. So far everything is looking good, and as a precaution I'm already at 22,000 feet, and after this point I will further start the descent to 4,200. So let's wait for it, and then I will show you over here on this charts that how the plane follows the DME arc if you are using the Airbus A320 Neo. Now I am near this point, Airbus, and it's hardly 11 nautical miles away. So let's set the altitude to 4,200, to which I will be descending as I have shown you before. So that will be 4,200. Let's change the units and let's set it to 200. So as you can see it over here in this chart, at this point, RK702, I should be at 4,200. With this plane, it's better to start your descent a bit early, because it's better to be at a lower altitude than to be at a higher one. Because if you are approaching any waypoint at a higher altitude, obviously it will be very difficult to then descend to a certain altitude. But if you're already at a lower altitude, it's easy to intercept the glide slope and then to land. So that's why, as I've seen before, that I descended to 22,000 feet way before this point, just to be on the safe side. So while flying this plane, if you have instructions from the ATC, then it's good, but otherwise it's better to manage your descent properly and start it a bit early. So right now you can see that I have almost crossed this point, Airbus. So I will now start the descent in the manage mode, and now the plane will actually descend towards this point. Now all we have to do is this: manage the speed below 10,000 feet. I will activate this approach phase so that the speed is also in control. Okay, now you can see that I am hardly far away from this runway. So soon I will be landing at the runway 33 left, and as I've told you before, that this waypoint, let me just increase the size, that ITCOS is not actually the part of our flight plan. It is this point. Soguk. So this is actually the via that I'm going to use. Now let's get back and let's see that after this point, Nagar, the plane will actually turn left and it will just go to this point, because Soguk is somewhere here. At this point I should be at 20,000 feet, but now I have actually started the descent, so the plane will keep on descending. So way before this point I'm at 20,000 feet, but you can see the climb rate, the descent rate is not very high. It's very minimal, because I'm descending in a managed mode. That's why I think the plane is trying to follow all the constraints. So at this point I should be above 22,000 feet or at 20,000 feet. So the plane is at 20,000 feet. I think further at this point the plane will start to descend. Let's wait for it. And let's see if the descent starts or not. And then the plane will actually go towards this side, towards the left, not in a straight line. And now the descent has started. So this is a good sign that the plane is actually following the constraints. And at this point the plane should be at 11,000 feet or more. So let's let me just refresh it. Yes, now you can see that there is a little bit of deviation from this line, because if the plane was following this line, it should have been going to ITCOS, but we are not going to ITCOS, we are going to this point, Sesot, not Soguk. I initially said Soguk, but it's Sesot, 11,000 feet. So I should be here at 11,000 feet. As the descent rate is really high, maybe I can change it to 11,000 feet, just to be following all the rules. I think it's not going to follow this constraint, because I'm not really sure, because if you're flying Phoenix, Airbus A320 or the flyby Airbus A321, although you have whatever the altitude you said, there is an altitude as per the constraint coming over here in magenta color. So that's why you know that maybe you have set it to 4,200, but the plane will actually descend to 11,000 first as per the manage mode. But over here in this case it was only 4,200 coming, but it was in magenta color. So just to be on the safe side, I'm just setting it manually. Hardly 12 nautical miles to go till Sesot. So at Sesot I will be at 11,000 feet, and then from there I will further descend to 4,200. So this is how you manage your descent if you are not communicating with the ATC and you want to follow all the charts and the constraints. So that's how you can manage your descent and the speed and everything. And here you can see this DME Arc 8 nautical miles away from the VOR. Parcel is 8,500. So after Sesot I will descend to 8,500, as you can see it over here. Sesot, then this is the altitude 8,500, and then Parcel. Let's see that. I hope the plane is following the flight path. Yes, it is. Seems to be. So now let's descend to 8,500. As you can see now, Sesot, the plane is coming. Initially when I did the flight it was over here, but I don't think so why in this run it's slightly away from this line. Anyhow, let's descend to 8,500. Well, let me set it to 4,200 and let's see what happens. Will it really follow the constraint or not? So let's give it a try. The further descent has started. The speed is really high. So Parcel, it should be 8,500. Now the speed is also reducing because the plane is about to go below 10,000 feet. So at below 10,000 feet the speed should be 250 knots. So that's why the speed is reducing. So with this I can also activate the approach phase, which has disappeared because the plane has already started to reduce its speed. So it's no longer coming over here. But still, if you want to activate, if your speed is not reduced, then you can activate it. Otherwise, that's why this option is not coming over here, which is a good sign. This is actually automatically done in this plane, but I think in fly-by-wire and Phoenix Airbus A320 you have to do it yourself. Activate the approach phase till the time you extend the flaps. But in this plane below 10,000 feet it is automatically carried out. So the speed will stabilize at 220 or 210 knots. The speed is not given over here, otherwise it comes that to which speed this plane is slowing down. As now the speed is below 230 knots, I can set the flaps to position 1. As you can see over here, that at 230 knots you can set the flaps to position 1. So now I will keep on extending the flaps with every speed. Now you can see the plane from Parcel is turning left. Slightly higher altitude, but it's good. At Soguk it's 5,500 feet. As you can see over here, it's coming D143H 5,500. I can turn on the LS. Let's check if the ILS frequency is entered. It should be 110.1 IFAT. ILS 33 left. Yes, 110.10. You can see it's coming over here. So this is good. Now the beauty of this approach, as it is programmed in this plane, as you can see, the plane is now following this arc, staying 8 nautical miles away from the VOR, and it will just go in a perfect arc. So this is a very nice approach. I really enjoyed it. I tried it 2 or 3 days back. That was the first time I tried a DME Arc approach. The video is already there on my channel. The same flight, but in this video I just wanted to go with you guys on this approach. Right now you can see I'm at 7,000 feet, so hopefully before this I should be at 5,500 or higher, but it's good to be at 5,500 feet. As you can see, this diamond is moving up, so it means that I will be properly aligned with the runway. Yes, it's a good sign. Okay, so as soon as the diamond is in the middle, I can activate approach. Now it's in the middle, or maybe we can wait further, because still the runway will be far. So as this diamond is moving up, so it's a good sign that we are at a lower altitude. If this diamond was below, it means we are coming at a higher altitude. So it's a very good sign. So with this I can set the flaps to position 2. I can set the ground spoilers, activate the auto brakes. And now you can see the plane is further turning right, and it will be following this line, the final approach. Let's activate approach as well. Now the plane will actually follow the glide slope. Now it's locked. Let's set the flaps to position 3. Further reduce the speed. One more right turn and the plane will be aligned with the runway. 33 left. This is 33 right, and this is 33 left. Now this is the final descent point. The flaps are at position 3. Yes. So this is good. As you can see, this is a straight line. So performing a DME arc approach is really easy. All you have to do is just select the runway and then select the proper star and via, and that's it. So in this case, the star, I got it from here. As you can see, the standard terminal arrival, ITBAS, and then ITBAS 1A, and then the via was SysHot. So it was easy. With this I can lower the gears and flaps to full position. Speed will reduce further. I can activate the spoilers so that the speed is reduced quickly. I can also do that. That's it. Deactivate the spoilers, activate the ground spoilers, set the speed to auto brake, not the speed, the auto brake to medium. And as you can see, the plane is following it. So flying a DME arc with this plane is really easy. I will not finish this video. I will attempt the landing, although my landings are really bad, but I will just try to land it. It's windy. It's from 83, 84, it's 13. How much? 90, 12. Well, it's slightly changed the wind direction. And let's also set it over here, 1014. I forgot to do this, but let's do it, 1014. This should have been done before, but I just forgot. But somehow we have now fixed it, so everything is good so far. The gears are down, as you can see. I think it's kind of a crosswind. But just right before the runway, I think 100 feet above the ground, I will just deactivate the autopilot and try to land the plane. When last time I landed in Riyadh, it was the same runway, 33 left. I was coming from Islamabad. It was an early morning flight. Landed there at 6:45 in the morning. You can see all this information is coming over here. ILS category 1, and the distance is 2 nautical miles. So this is coming. You can see this diamond is in the middle. So the plane is following the glide slope. Some nice crosswind.
500. 400.
Although it's not that windy right now in Riyadh. But I think airport is like 30 minutes drive from my place. Let's deactivate it and let's try to land it. I think I was away from the runway, so I will just try to correct the course and try to perform it.
100. 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Retard 5.
So not a bad landing. I was able to land. With this, I would just like to end my video. If you've got any questions, you can ask me in the comment section. And if you want to add anything to this video, the comment section is there for you. You can always add something to this video. Thank you very much for staying with me. Have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.